Good morning, everyone. Top performers. It's good to have you back. This is week 2 of virtual top performers. And you guys have been doing great. Talked to a couple of you just beforehand, and got a lead, a referral partner, a listing, got a lead from Realtor.com. That things are starting to come in, and we need to appreciate, just as more and more things come into our experience, to appreciate that, and then more will be given to you. If you think it's not enough, or I wish I had more, and it's okay to want more, but when you're saying, gee, I wish I had more, that's going on the side of not enough, and then you won't be given any more. And so it's a little bit tricky, but you're going to really be able to get this, and we're going to just have a fascinating time this morning that it's going to rock, and you're going to better understand yourself and better understand other people. And I wanted to start, though, with a story on just how powerful that we are. And this was during the drought a couple of years back in Dallas, and I was thinking to myself, and I was in this beautiful park, and I was looking, and I was seeing that the birds, and I had a little, there was a little water there, and that the birds had drank up the water already. I was thinking about the lack of the birds not having enough water, the trees not, looking very stressed because they didn't have enough water. And so I was engaged in all of this lack. And all of a sudden, the thought came to me, and these are godly thoughts that come to you when you get a thought, that those are communications from God, your source. And I got a thought, and it said, what do I want? And so I said, I want it to rain. And again, this was in a real bad drought. We hadn't had any rain for months, and everything was drying up. And so I said I wanted it to rain. And so that's the what, and I identified what I wanted. And then I was asked, why do you want it? And I said, well, here's why I want it. I want to have the trees not be stressed. I want the trees to be healthy. I want the birds to be able to have water, and I want the grass to be green and the trees to be vibrant and healthy. And so I just got into this rambling, if you will, all of these thoughts of what I did want, what I wanted, and why I wanted it. And I left, and that next morning that there was a big, on the weather report, there was this big information on, just mysteriously in one area of Dallas, it rained. And guess what area Dallas that was? It was at the park that I was sitting at. And that's how powerful we are. Christ said you can move mountains, and we really never really understood that. And none of us have ever moved a mountain. We really didn't understand. But the fact is that we have lots of power, and this process will help you to understand on how to have more of the things that you want. And this also, let me relate it now to business, that if you're sitting around thinking about, gee, I don't have enough business, I didn't get any leads, I don't have any referral partners, I don't know anybody, I don't have enough money, that if you think that I want you, and all of us have thought that at one point or another about our businesses, and for you now to think differently, and the way to think differently about that is to think about and identify, what do I want? So what is it? Ask yourself right now, what do I want with my business? And so hopefully that same thing that comes to your mind was on your desire sheet that we did last week on what is it that I desire? What is it that I want with my business? And so let's assume that you said that I want to close 3 deals a month, 3 real estate transactions a month. And now ask yourself, why? Why do you want to do that? Just like you can make it rain, so you can make it rain business onto you, identifying what I want to close three transactions per month, and then why. And so I'm going to just start calling forth and asking, why do I want that? And I want that because I want a thriving business. I want that because I want more money. I want more money because it gives me more freedom. It gives me more choices. It gives me more variety. That by closing 3 deals, the reason why I want that is because it can help my family. It can help my family become, I'm going to be able to give them more things. For example, for Father's Day, it was my oldest son's first Father's Day because he just had my grandchild 2 months ago. And I'm on Facebook if you want to connect with me under Hank Seitz. And there's a picture of me with my baby grandson. And so it was his first Father's Day. So because I have enough money and because I asked for more money to come into my experience, I was able to give him a grill. And so he was able to have his first cookout with his family on his first Father's Day. And so and the more you think about, oh yeah, why? This is why that I love money. Money is good. We have been brought up with the idea that money is bad, there isn't enough of it, that if you take money, you're taking away from somebody else. And the fact is that all you need to do is identify what you want and why you want it and source. God will make more of it. There were no billionaires 50 years ago. Now there's over 400 billionaires. Where did the extra money come from? Did it come from some other planet? No. Those people asked for more money and they were given more money. And so for you to really be focused now on that, yes, and why do I want to close 3 deals per month? Because I love serving people. I love helping those people. I love the smiles on their face when I hand them the keys, that I love going to closing and receiving that check. I love seeing how happy they are. I love that the people that I help then give me referrals to build my business even further. And you say, I just started now a rampage of what I wanted, a rampage of just going into and identifying these are all the things that what I want and all the reasons why I want it. And then guess what? More business comes to me, and it literally can come to me out of the blue. So to start with, I want you to really focus now on your 2 desires, your professional desire, and review those if you have those desire sheets. Look at what you want on your professional goal and then your personal goal, and then why you want it, and just start asking, and you'll get more and more ideas. And as you build that energy, you're literally sending a signal out to the universe saying, this is what I want, and your prayers are instantly manifested, and that everything that you ask for is coming to you. You just have to be careful that you're not asking for what you don't want. So here we are with virtual top performers in week 2. It's going to be a rocking session here as we're going to better understand ourselves as well as others. And for some of you, this is the second time you've been through this process. You're going to see that you're going to pick up more and more information and be more and more on it and really start picking up and understanding this teaching so that you can have more success and more happiness in your life. So we're going to talk about specifically the 4 different behaviors of mankind and the 6 motivators for us energy beings. And that's what we in essence are, that with our thoughts we create energy, that we're energy with all the cells in our body that we are, and it's all moving. There's actually more space than there is matter in our bodies, in the table, in the desk you're looking at. There's actually more space. So our eyes sometimes don't tell us the real truth of what is going on. And we have a tendency, back to sitting in the park, we have a tendency to looking at what is and thinking about what is. And when we do, we just get more of what is. In the park, it would be more of no rain. Okay, and so by me changing the way that I thought, I was able to change my outcome. And I do this with business, I do this with my health, with everything, and you can do this as well. So our agenda will look at the 4 behaviors, identify how to identify those 4 different behaviors, and then raise the curtain of communication with others. We're also going to look at the 6 motivations and how to speak other people's language, that you are motivated by your way, and the highest motivators that you have, the 2 top highest motivators that you have, is what motivates you to make decisions, and it's the way that you think. It's the things that when you hear things that relate to what you're most motivated with, you're going to be able to, you're going to be inspired by. And so you need to understand what inspires others, because what you're speaking to other people isn't necessarily what is inspiring them and would encourage them to make a decision. And then we're going to identify our high payoff activities. And it's really another just magic piece that we discussed in Success Unit 1. And on your high payoff activities, we'll outline those high payoff activities for you, that most people only invest about 30% of their time in high payoff activities and about 70% of their time in low payoff activities. And the more that you focus on your high payoff activities, so if you double your high payoff activities, you'll at least double your business. And then we'll talk about ideal referral partners and the keys to building $1 million business. That I've had people by week 3 attract $1 million clients. And so that's one of the things that you're asking for, is, as we all know, it takes just as much time to do a $100,000 deal than $1 million deal. So why not, or a multi-million-dollar deal? So why not do a multi-million-dollar deal? And so just know that you can literally ask for it and get it, but you need to get out of your current thinking, and this will all help you to stop the way that you're currently thinking, the thinking process that you have, and think differently about life, about you, about your self-esteem, that you are magnificent. You're a magnificent creator, that you're made in the image and likeness of God, and that you're supposed to be able to go out and create whatever you want to. And so you're the one that identifies what you want, and then the Father does the work and takes you to the how. So that's not your job. And by knowing that and realizing on just how wonderful that you are and magnificent that you are, and just embrace those words, and that I crown you with that you're the prince and princess of just the magnificence of everything that you are. And so now we're going to look at the 4 different behavior styles of mankind, that Hippocrates in 300 BC identified these 4 different behavior styles. And pretty much most of people didn't really give a hoot, because they were farmers and it wasn't about relationships. Now your entire business is related around relationships, how well you get along with people. And by understanding this information, you're going to better understand yourself. You're going to better understand other people, and specifically that you're going to be able to identify which of the 4 behavior styles another person is within about 30 seconds, whether you're meeting them in person, talking on the phone, even on email. You'll be able to pick up what kind of behavior style are these people. And then importantly, so the first thing, to identify what behavior style they are, and then the second thing is to identify how to modify your behavior style so you can open up that shade of communication. So we're going to look at the behavior style, identify the behavior style, what expertise each behavior style is, what percent of population each behavior style is, and then how you can modify your behavior style to more effectively communicate with people. Before our call, I was talking to one of you and that said, oh yeah, I got I was able to get a lead, and so you're going to have to call those people, and you're going to be more effective now in within 30 seconds identifying what behavior style they are and more effectively communicating with them. That same person then also through a referral partner received a listing, and again, it's back to those relationships on how do I build that relationship with my referral partner and with those people that are doing the listing, and then how do I in that listing build that whole neighborhood and meet the neighborhood and connect with the neighborhood, and how do I come up with new ideas in order to really get along with people. And so there's a lot of wonderful ideas out there, like on a listing. If you have a listing, you can go out and put door knockers out right now today on just knock on doors and start doing it. I know somebody that gets about 4 listing closings a month, and they do it by just picking a neighborhood, going to the nearest strip mall and finding different businesses that want to have a coupon or whatever that he says, hey, I'm going to be walking this neighborhood. Do you have a coupon? And they say, oh, sure, I'd love to do it. And it's free and everything. And so they have a coupon. And so you just give somebody that, and then they'll think about you. And that way you'll get more listings in that neighborhood. So back to the 4 different behavior styles. The first behavior style that we're going to look at is the D. And so these behavior styles, if you want to write down, I would recommend that you write down that actually put a little plus. If you get out a piece of paper, put a little plus in the middle of the paper, and then at the top of the plus on the north side, put a D, and on the east side, put an I. And then on the south side, put an S as in Sam. And then on the west side, put a C as in conscientious. And that's DISC. So it's very easy to remember the 4 different behavior styles. They're the DISC behavior styles. And the first is the D for driver. A driver is very dominant. They do a lot. They like to control. They like to do a lot of telling. And what are they good at? They're very good at decision making. And about 18% of these of the population are this way. So about 1 out of 5 people that you run into are going to be a D. And so importantly, first of all, think about a person that you know that has these characteristics. It's a driver, very dominant. They like to control. They like to do a lot of telling. And think about which one, who that is that you have in your life. And so then you'll realize, oh yeah, that there are a lot of people that I do know people that are drivers. And now, importantly, think about how you want to modify your behavior style so you can more effectively speak with them. And the way to do that is you want to be efficient with the driver. So when you call a driver up, you don't say, and by the way, this also is a way for, Christ taught us, do not judge. And a lot of us judge, and sometimes we wouldn't call that person a D. We might call them a B word. And so you want to say, oh yeah, I'm going to stop judging people, and I'm going to just realize that, oh, we're different. We're all different. And we can all, but all of us, it takes all of us to come together, and we're all connected by a common cord together, and it takes all of us to come together and to be able to really understand each other, and our differences actually add value for each other. And so with the D, the way you want to be is efficient. So when you call a D and they say, and they ask you, how's it going? You don't say, oh, wow, it's going great. We're doing a lot of great things. And I did this, for Father's Day or whatever. That, no, you just basically, with the driver, you want to be efficient, and you want to say that, hey, I'm doing great. And I was calling you about this listing, or I was calling you about, a home that I might have available for you or whatever. But you want to get right to the point and be efficient. So that's the D. Now we're going to move over to the I, and the I is the influencer. And again, I would recommend that you write this down and really hold it in, because you also are going to be looking at your assessment today. And I sent each of you your assessment. And so with that, we're going to review those assessments, and you'll want to look at these 4 different behavior styles. So to write it down, and the I is for influencer. And the influencer is very outgoing, and they do a lot of telling. So you probably are familiar with the I, these influencers, that they're, talking a lot. Like if you're in a hurry and you're walking down the hall and you see an influencer coming to you, you want to make a left. You want to avoid them because, it's going to just be a long talk or whatever. But now you recognize, oh, they're just an I. That's all. They're influencers. They're very outgoing. And what they're good at is they're very good. And again, each one of these behavior styles have some expertise in them. But the I typically naturally has a way to influence people very effectively. 28% of the population are effective at influencing, are influencers. And so you're looking at, again, about 1/3 of the population that you run into, they're going to be influencers. And so how do you want to be with them? You want to be stimulating. So think about that on be stimulating, that I want to bump it up a little. So when I call an influencer, I meet with an influencer, I don't say, hey, how you doing? I say, hey, how you doing? And so I bump it up a little. Now, I don't fake it at the same time, because each of us have a little bit of every one of these behavior styles within us, but you definitely want to bump it up. And what happens is when you bump it up, like with the driver, when you're efficient, that it opens up that shade of communication. With the influencer, when you're stimulating, it opens up that shade of communication. And so it's a marvelous way to really start building deep, meaningful relationships that will not only build your happiness, but also your success and your business. The third behavior style is the S, and that is for steady. And so the steady is don't rock the boat. As far as buyers are concerned, these are the most difficult ones. Why? Because they really don't think there needs to be much of a change. And so they typically take a long time before they make a decision. And so it can drive a driver nuts, because a driver, and why I have them on opposing sides, is a driver makes quick decisions and hurry up, let's go. Where the study is, hey, let's not rock the boat. Everything their expertise is, they have a great even pace. And so think now about who that's that description, who's just steady, easygoing, not real outgoing. And it's, for some of you, it's you, and so look at these different behavior styles and look at which one is me, and so this one is you on the steadiness. And if that is you, that steadiness, and other people that are steadies, and 40% of the population are S's. So this makes it very challenging, as far as if you can't get along well with an S. For example, if you're a D, that you'll typically have a hard time getting along with an S unless you realize this information about the 4 different behavior styles of people, and you're going to be able to now get along better with them when you are agreeable with them. So how do I modify it with a steady? Is I make sure I'm agreeable, which means I don't say no. I don't say the word but, okay, that's a great idea, but just erase the statement, that's a good idea. So you want to be very sensitive to what you're saying with all people, and really in general, it's good for all people not to say no, but in particular with the S's. So what word do you say? You can say the word and that's a great idea, and have you considered this? And so as you're in there, that dealing with those people, that you want to make sure that you, with the S's of steadies, that you're agreeable. Now, for you in business, to move them along faster because they're at this even pace, that you want to do a lot of little action steps in a short amount of time. So you maybe want to call them and say, hey, we can look at the house tonight, and or a couple of houses tonight, and then they look at a couple of houses and then say, what did you think about that? That, why don't tomorrow we sign a contract on this? That, and so it's very little. Whereas with a D, you can go to a D and say, hey, do you like that house? And they'll say yes or no. And they'll get right to the point. So that's the DIS, and now we're going to move to the C. And the C is for conscientious or compliant. And these people are very concerned with facts and data. And so they're maybe what you would consider the fuddy-duddy accountant that's in the corner. They, in fact, are very influential with businesses, or as a buyer or a seller in real estate, they're going to be very influential as far as they're going to look at the facts and the data. That they're all about rules and regulations. So a high C says rules and regulations are meant to be followed. A medium C says rules and regulations are nice guidelines. And a low C says rules and regulations are meant to be broken. Now, only 14% of the population is this way. However, know that, and you've all been up against it, where they say, someone says to you, well, so how many feet away is the fire hydrant from the front door? And you might be saying, who cares? But the fact is, they care about data. And so for you to be able to raise that curtain is you want to be very accurate. So probably with that question, you'd first say, I don't know, but I'll find out. And so you don't want to be general. Well, it's around, 100 feet away. That they want to know that it's 103 feet away. And you'll also notice that the D and the S are opposing each other. Why is that? Because the D wants to make quick decisions. The S says, hey, there's no reason to make anything quick. And then the I and the C are on opposing sides, because the C says, just give me the facts. And the I is saying, hey, this is the best thing ever and the best deal. And, again, the C is saying, hey, I just want the data and the facts. And so those are the 4 different behavior styles. There's some ways to help you to understand and relate and how to identify these behavior styles. And that is the D and the I. Those typically people are very extroverted. That the I and the S are more concerned with relationships. That the C and the S are more introverted. And that the D and the C are concerned with tasks. Now, I was working with a IBM executive, and when I showed her this, she started to cry, and I said, listen, this information is valuable and good, but I don't know if it's worth crying over. And she said, well, I just realized that I'm an IS, and I'm concerned with relationships, and my husband, for the last 13 years, I've been trying to change him to be warm and fuzzy, but now I recognize he's a DC. And DCs will never be warm and fuzzy. They're only concerned with tasks. And I said, well, give me an example of you and the dynamics of your relationship. And she goes, well, we go on vacation. That I say, oh, who's, because she's concerned with relationships, right? She's saying, hey, who's going to be coming? Are the in-laws coming? Are the kids' friends coming, etc. Whereas in this case, the husband, the DC, he's concerned with tasks, and he just wants to know, when are they leaving? When are they getting back? How are they getting there? And where are they staying? And so she realized she was just wasting all of those years trying to change him from his behavior style to her behavior style. And then she asked me, why did I marry this guy? And I said, because opposites attract. And so sometimes it's really nice to, see that change of behavior style and different than you, but sometimes living with that change is a little bit more challenging. And so that is the DISC. And what I want to do now is I'd like you to go to your computer and see if you could, and to get to your behavior style, your profile, your assessment that I sent you. And what I'd like you to do is go to the third page. And that third page basically says the sales characteristics. And so I have that page up just on a sample that I have on Kathy here. But I'd like you to read that first paragraph and under sales characteristics. So does everybody have that? And so if you want to just tell me you have it, you can go ahead and text me it there in the little box, and make sure that you're all there. Okay, great, thank you. And so I'd like you to read right now the sales characteristics, just that first paragraph, and see what you think. Okay, good, Tammy, thank you. So go to page 3, read the first paragraph about you and see what you think. And again, we're going to just briefly go over this assessment, but there's all kinds of information that you're going to just love. And it's all about you and how to be able to relate more effectively with other people. So take a minute and read your sales characteristics, that first paragraph. All right. So what did you think? Pretty good, huh? That you'll see that there's actually 2 pages there of your sales characteristics. And again, we're not going to go through that, but and you can go through that now afterwards if you haven't already. For most people, they can't wait to dig into this. It's just great information about themselves. And then I'm just going to scroll down just so you're aware of some things on page 5 there. These are the 6 steps to the sales process. And so it's prospecting and you can see now it says adapted and natural. So the natural is who you really are. The adapted is how you modify your behavior style out in the world to the world. And so you can see where you are with prospecting. First impressions. So this is literally the order of the sales cycle. And it doesn't matter where you are in it, because so if you, for example, I mean, none of you are at 0, but if you're at lower numbers, that what matters is for you to build these relationships. And so between referral partners and understanding the 4 behavior styles and the 6 motivations, that it will increase all of these for you, and this helps you to increase your awareness of, wow, there's 6 steps to the sales process. Here they are. Here's how I am. And what areas am I really good at? What areas do I want to improve at? But just being aware, for example, that closing is so easy to increase your closing by simply asking, do you feel comfortable of signing the contract now? As easy as that. Does this house look like something you want to purchase? They say yes. Well, let's go ahead and do the contract then. And so it's just those easy questions on closing, and probably the greatest opportunity for many of us is to be able to ask for the business. And, it's like, oh, you're going to get something and they're not. And that isn't it at all. You're actually helping people to choose by asking them questions and veering them in the direction that you want. Because you don't want to spend the next year showing houses, and that you want to help them be clear on what they want show them what they want, and then ask them, are you ready to purchase and sign a contract on this home? So there the 6 different steps for the sales process are. And again, I'm going to go page down. There's just all kinds of information, ways to communicate with you, ways not to communicate with you, selling tips. So here's a great page on page 12. Here's when selling to a person who is dependent, neat, conservative, that's a C there. When selling to a person who's ambitious, forceful, decisive, that's a D. When selling to a person who's magnetic, enthusiastic, friendly, that's the I. And when selling to a person who's patient, predictable, reliable, that's the S. And so there you go, literally on how to prepare yourself with each person, each behavior style on selling tips. And so this information really is invaluable. And I would even like print this particular page out. Here's the ideal environment you like. Here's how you perceive yourself, your own self-perception, others' perception when you're moderately stressed, and then others' perception when you're extremely stressed. And look at that. You say, that's not me, but it actually is when you're stressed out. So you don't want to be stressed out, and you don't have to be stressed out as long as you do your joy shop and start pre-paving the day that you want it and be clear on what your desires are and be in that state of appreciation in the joy shop that you won't be stressed. Yesterday I was interviewed for a book that's coming out, and I was asked, and it's more of a business book, and I was asked about how do I manage stress, or how stressful I think it was. So how stressful are you, and in your business? I said, I'm not at all stressed. They go, not at all? We've never heard that. And I said, no. And they said, well, how do you do it? And I said, I just stay happy. And we each have the ability to stay happy and be happy right now in this present moment. So you can always, on that page, you can always just be your self-perception to the world, because nobody wants to be those other things anyways. There's the DISC. Again, the highlighted areas are where you're powerful in what you've been, your God gift, gifted talents that you have, behavior style that you have. And so lots of information, keys to managing. So like if you have someone like is a manager, or you can take this to your spouse or your kids or whatever, but here's how you like to be managed. And then here's how you like to be motivated. So keys to motivating on page 19, at least page 19 on this assessment, that sometimes they're a little bit longer or shorter, depending on your results. And remember, this is your answers. I didn't play with this at all. This is who you are. So just some amazing information, some time wasters, habits, resisting change, and so some really good solutions for you as far as time. And then areas for improvement, you can actually develop a plan for you, a development plan for you, business plan for you on areas to improve in, and then an action plan. So there's a whole action plan. You can literally just delve into this $300 assessment that is free to you, that this assessment, that you can delve into this and you can develop a whole plan that will take you to everything that you want. A more action plan in your personal life, and then there's just different behaviors and an outline of the behaviors. But what I do want to touch on is on page 29 there, that this is the DISC at the top of each graph. The right graph is who you really are. The left graph is how you adapt yourself in your environment. And so you want to be who you were born to be, and that is your right graph. Your left graph is how you have modified yourself to be. And so the way to look at if you're having stress, so this graph will actually show you if you have some stress and how to reduce your stress. And the way to do that is, so in my example that I'm looking at, is it's the DISC, and you subtract the D from the D. So in this case, it's the 7% to the 8%. And so if you're looking at this graph is on page 29. And so if you're looking at yours, what you would do is you subtract the D from the D. And if there is 10 points or more, this is creating a lot of stress for you, and you want to get back to who you are. You would then subtract the I from the I and see if there's a 10-point difference or more, the S from the S, and then the C from the C. And so anything that's in the range, even like 7 or more, this is causing you stress, and you want to get back to who you are. So it's just like an invaluable graph here to really help you to understand who you are, the right graph, how you modify your behavior in the left graph. So on my graph example on the S, that she is reducing her S, and remember, the higher the S, the slower you are, the more even pace you are. And so you can see what she does is she drops her S in her left graph, which means she's going at a faster pace than she's comfortable with. So one of the techniques she could do is say to herself, hey, I want to slow down. I want to be who I am, and I want to take it easy. I have all the time of eternity, and so there's no reason to rush. And as you are more relaxed and at ease, you'll be more successful. The society can put you into everything so fast and all the technology, it's speeding up, but you don't have to speed up with it. You can be aware of it, know how to use it, etc. But you don't have to speed up yourself and your thinking, I got to do. Because remember, if you do, you just get do. So you want to have more just think, and be focused. And in your joy shop will be one way to do that. Now, I'm going to use my example here on this assessment, and I'm going to go to an area, so it's on page 32 on the assessment I'm at. It would probably be 31, 32, or 33 on yours, and the top of that says Introduction Motivators section right after that wheel there. And there are listed the 6 different ways that people are motivated. So with that, I'm going to just briefly go through the 6 different ways based on the order that this is. So aesthetic means a person who's interested in form and harmony. Each experience is judged from the standpoint of grace, symmetry, or fitness. Life may be regarded as a procession of events, and each is enjoyed in its own state. So that's aesthetic, just really kind of enjoying the moment and the form and the harmony. And it's a beautiful place to be, aesthetic. But where you are is where you are, and which is just great. The next one, so these are, again, the top 2 are how people make decisions. So if you're driving with a person and you're driving along and you say, oh, isn't it a beautiful day? And they go, it is a beautiful day. I just love this moment, being in this backyard, enjoying, you walk out to the backyard, enjoying that. Well, that person is aesthetic. And so you want to have them enjoy that moment and enjoy that. Well, you're enjoying this moment. Would you enjoy living in this home? Would you like to sign this contract? Again, questions to get to that close. Then there's the traditional regulatory, and these people are looking at everything. They value unity, order, tradition. So they seek a system for living. So they're looking at what is the way. So I wake up this morning, I do this, I go to church on Sunday. So they're looking for that tradition. And so if those are those high people, those are people that you want to look at. They're typically more conservative. They like defined rules, regulations, and principles for living. So this is a nice neighborhood. This has a church in the neighborhood. This has a school in the neighborhood. That way you would be talking to the traditional regulatory. The next one is social and altruistic. And basically, these people are people that want to help other people. That if you're too high social, you forget about you and you only are focused on helping other people. And when you do that, you actually lose and aren't as effective in helping other people. And so a quick little example, the mom's making dinner and the next door neighbor knocks on the door and says, hey, can you go help me, with my laundry? And she says, oh, sure, I love helping people. And she goes over, helps with the laundry, and the whole dinner is burnt. And then the whole family is sitting there saying, hey, no dinner for us tonight. So that's just, kind of an easy example on that. But those people that want to help other people, that you want to talk to them then about social, and wow, this is a wonderful neighborhood, that they have neighborhood parties, that they love all that, and there's kids there that, that are your age. And so high social, you'd be talking to their values on being high social. The next one is individualistic, and this is people wanting to be the best. So when someone says, I want to buy the biggest house in the neighborhood, don't say, oh no, it's a bad investment. These people are individualistic and they want to have the best. So they don't care if it costs more money. They're not going to get as much money back. That they want the best and they want the biggest house on the block. And that'll help you to understand that what people value, not what you value, is important when you're serving others. Is you can't put your values on them because you won't get the deal, number one, and you're not helping them to be happy, because this is what makes people happy based on what value that they are. The next one is utilitarian, and as easy as this, it's about return on investment. And so if they're talking to you about, hey, what's my return on investment? Right away, see, on behaviors, you can identify behaviors within 30 seconds. On values, it's about them talking. And so when they start saying, well, if I get, how's the neighborhood as far as are the homes, increasing, and do you think long term they'd be increasing? Well, they're looking for a return on investment. So you want to start talking to them in return on investment. They don't really care about the church there and the social helping other people or the aesthetic, if there's form and harmony in the moment. They're looking at, what's my return on investment of time, energy, and money? And so it's just amazing as you start opening up and realizing, oh, I see, people value differently than I do. And then theoretical is basically the love of knowledge. And so people that want lots of knowledge, so they're going to ask a lot of things. They have an appetite for learning. And so you help them to understand, here's this neighborhood and what's special about this neighborhood. Here's this neighborhood or this city and so you help them with knowledge, and people really like you then because you're giving them knowledge, and that's something that they want. And so the bottom line, so I'm going all the way down now to the graph, the big graph that should be on around page 48. And there is the order of how strong are these values. And so you can see theoretical is the highest value. And then utilitarian and individualistic. So typically, if you're talking to people and giving them knowledge, and then you're talking to them about the return on investment and helping them to understand that they will be the best, this is the best for them, that you'll probably be talking their language, just because a lot of people, these are the three highest ones there on doing it. So to be able to recognize, wow, I just love that I now can understand on the different values of people and to talk their language. So an amazing piece there that we just went through, and now I'm going through, here the 6 motivators are, and they are how people make decisions and the language that they speak. So based on where you are, and by the way, if you're over 50, if you rank over 50 in any of those values, you value that so much, you don't understand why other people don't. So you want to be really easy with yourself on recognizing that what you value isn't necessarily what other people value. And now you have an awareness of what you value most. And that's the language you're speaking, but not necessarily, in fact, most likely not, the language that other people are speaking. And now you understand that there's these 6: utilitarian, return on investment; theoretical, knowledge; social, helping others; individual, holistic, wanting to be number one; traditional, an order to life; and aesthetic, form and harmony. And by understanding where you are now with these 6 values, what motivates people to make a decision, understanding you and understanding that there's these 6 out there that make up how other people make up decisions, it'll help you tremendously to start talking the language of other people. So a lot of information, but powerful information. And I would ask that one of your success assignments will be to review your entire profile. And you may want to share it with, your friends, your best friends, your family, your significant other, and share that, because there's a lot of great information there that will help in other people understanding you and you understanding other people. And it's the key to communication that raises that curtain of communication, so you have clear communication with all people to build deep and meaningful relationships. So now we're going to switch to our high payoff activities. So basically, there are high payoff activities for us in our personal life and our professional life, and there are low payoff activities in our personal and our professional life. And what you want to do is you want to identify, what are my high payoff activities? What are the main things for me to do to live in the green zone? Remember, this is all about, I'm going to be thinking in the green zone. I'm going to be thinking now about people and understanding their 4 behaviors, their motivated 6 ways. And now I'm going to be focused on my thinking, and that thus my inspired actions on what my high payoff activities are. Your first high payoff activity, and I actually have a whole time management system, and if you're interested in that, let me know, and I can share that with you. But part of that time management system is every month you put in your high payoff activities. And your assignment from last week in the assignment sheet at the end of the success unit is a question on what are my high payoff activities. And we talked about that in that success unit. And so here they are. The first one is to prepave your day, your week, your month, and your life. And the main way to do that is with your Joy Shop. I would absolutely recommend that you get a hard-covered time management system and not soft. In other words, not on your phone or on your computer, and actually have a month at a glance and the days at a glance. And again, I have a time management system that you can get from me. And just let me know if you want that. And but to be able to use that every day, every week, and always to write it down, because by writing it down, it helps make it stick. It helps really change your thought patterns and your behavior patterns that will lead you to more success and more happiness. So if you don't plan your life, someone else will. And I know we've all been up against that, where, oh, darn, somebody else did. And the second high payoff activity, so now this is professionally, what I believe would be your second highest payoff activity, and that would meet 5 times a week with your ideal referral partners. Ideally, you want to end up with 10 referral partners where you can meet with them on average one day during the 5-day work week, one day every week to meet with them. They can be your friends, your family. Again, before this call, one person said, well, I really don't have someone. Well, that someone actually gave them a referral for a listing. That's a referral partner, and you need to develop that relationship and to get them used to thinking about you. They're well connected and thinking about you, and then helping to provide more referrals. And remember, the reason why you want these referrals is because referrals are going to be the way to easily, quickly, where you get out of the selling, and most of you aren't sellers per se, heavily SCs, and which is just great because that's over 50% of the population that you can communicate well with. And so now all you need to do is start developing these referral partnerships, and then you get out of selling and you get into servicing. So meet 5 times a week with ideal partners, then meet with your ideal prospects that become your ideal clients. So you want to be clear, and I would suggest that you write out, what is my ideal client? They're they're qualified, they have money down, they're harmonious, they're agreeable, they're motivated, they make quick decisions. If you don't call forth what you want in your clients, you're going to just get it by mishap and be in that top left-hand red zone. And so you want to make sure you're clear on what my ideal prospects are, then meet with and follow up with your clients. And so it's making sure that you follow up and with everything that you say. And every time I make a commitment, I actually write it down on my time, and that way nothing falls through the cracks. And how many times have we thought, oh, I forgot this, or I didn't do that? Things fall through the cracks, and sometimes deals fall through the cracks because we aren't accountable and holding ourselves and being masters at time management. And so a great start on time management is to say, I am a master at time management. Okay. And then the 5th one is to close and then ask for referrals. And again, why would you ask for referrals? Aren't you the only one benefiting? No, you're going to benefit those clients you just closed with. You're going to benefit all the friends they have, all the family and loved ones they have, all the clients they have, all the business partners they have. You're going to be able to help them, help all the people that they know, because you're great and you're worth it. Okay? And then referral partnerships, just to finish up again, and we've been talking throughout this session about referral partnerships, but to identify who your ideal partners are. So I'd like you to just write down one person that is well connected, that that they like, might be an old client or not, doesn't matter, and contact them. So this week I'd like you to identify and then contact them and ask for help. Then meet with them and share who your ideal client is. I'm looking for people in this neighborhood that are well qualified, have good credit. You might not know all that information, but those are the people that I want. They say, oh yeah, I know people. And then you want to ask for a personal introduction. And the key there is that personal introduction, to make sure you get a personal introduction. And then you want to follow up with them and hold them accountable, that if they say, yeah, I'll talk to them today, you say, great. Could I call you tonight to see how that call went? And then you make sure you call them tonight and hold them accountable on how that call go. If they say, I forgot, then you say, great, when can you see them next? And then ultimately you want to literally set up a very strategic partnership with them, where you meet with them twice a week. And so your success assignments for this week: read your behavioral and motivational assessments. Listen to Success Unit 2 at least 6 times. So I'll send you an MP3. It'll be all about understanding yourself and others, and cover this information and more information to really help you to internalize the ideas that I shared with you today. Meet with at least one new ideal referral partner. You can do this really by next week. You should have some more business than you did when you started before you started last week, that all you need to do is do this and just say, hey, this is easy, this is fun, I can build great relationships with this, and just move forward with this. And then expect out of the blue things to happen. That as long as you're doing your joy shop every morning, just expect wonderful things to now start happening in your life for you and to you. And just expect miracles to come to you, and expect it to rain, and this time expect it to rain business on you. And then most of all, feel good every day. And the way to do that is in your joy shop. And so this is Virtual Top Performers. I thank you so much for attending. We meet again next Wednesday, same time, same place. And I'll send you a copy of all this and the recording if you'd like to listen to it again, along with the MP3s. And I wish you all success and happiness, and make sure that you contact me with any way that I can help you personally or professionally to lead you to more happiness and success. Love you all. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.